Wait for it. That's what you call attitude adjustment. A caliber missile coming down in front of you on your way to the mall, and that's been going on across Ukraine in the last few days. No let up in that. It's proceeded apace. Destruction of targets across Ukraine. Air defences and energy. Electricity distribution, the key targets. This map here, courtesy of the Military Summary channel, shows that the Russians are in fact using targeted strikes to carve up the structure of the electricity grid ahead of full-scale invasion. So it's not just attitude adjustment, it's also military strategic division of Ukraine into different electricity zones so that the electricity can be turned on and off in different zones without affecting the entire country. That's part of the preparation for it. Looks to me like full-scale war. What's the attitude in Washington and London? Well, Colonel Doug McGregor has been speaking about that, and he says that these bozos, as I'm sure it's no surprise to you to hear, when they are presented with an opportunity to smarten up, have generally speaking doubled down on the dumb idea. Nevertheless, he says, this wave of missile attacks and the mobilization of Russian troops have produced an interesting dynamic. They're determined to go ahead in Washington and London, but now they feel the fear.
There's a lot of fear in Washington right now. This is a sea change, if you will, a dramatic shift on the Russian side. This is something they didn't expect. They thought that somehow or another we could bully and intimidate Putin and the Russian people. It's impossible. The opposite has happened. And now the Ukrainians are running out of manpower. This business of they have limitless manpower. Well, if you take someone who's a grandfather, someone who's 16, you hand them a weapon, put them in a uniform and say, go to the front, I guess that's limitless manpower. But that's a hell of a way to fight a war, and that's what's happening today in Ukraine.
Who does winter help and who does winter hurt?
The Russians have all the fuel they need. They have all the heat that they could wish for. Their infrastructure is largely intact. They have logistical infrastructure for their forces, thanks to the rail system that has not been disrupted and cannot be disrupted by the Ukrainians. So I would say the Ukrainians are in a lot of trouble. They could end up freezing and starving just as much as many Europeans in the West are this winter.
Yeah, it's a hard rain. It's going to fall. So, what are we facing into? Here's my best guess of what's not been spoken about, what is unspoken but inevitable now. Note the position here of Poland, Belarus and Russia, with Ukraine in grey below. Now we know Russian forces have already taken areas in the southeast of Ukraine. So their next move is to move north and east, and the corresponding move will be to move down from Belarus at the same time. This now with the troops already in Belarus, Russian and Belarusian troops already on the border. This is a given. As I say, if the unthinkable is about to happen, this is how it will play out. And it seems to me that it's going to be inevitable that the Poles are also then going to move in if the Belarusian-Ukraine border is crossed. So that could get quite messy. Welcome, as I've been saying, to World War III. Can't see any way out of that. The indications, pointers in that direction are multiple. Polish army receives short-range missile defence system October the 4th. Poland, UK sign agreements on new weapon developments October the 7th. Poland's military spending at a record high apparently. And most tellingly, in recent days, Poland tells citizens to leave Belarus. That's what I'm saying about the unspoken is about to get seriously spoken. That's one war. Let's turn to another. gas prices. In the USA, a very serious issue, and Joe Biden asked for a 1 month delay, the Saudis now say, in order to explain why they told him to get lost, because he's just looking for political gain. But of course, they're putting the boot in. And as you see here, the United Arab Emirates President, MBZ, visited Putin in St. Petersburg here, in on the deal, and also giving the big no-no to Joe Biden and the neocons. And it's not just gas, it's also rents, as the second phase of the inflationary lift takes place, and US rents, got it, went up 7.8% in September. That means that, although they're not saying it here, it means that the rents are surging, and that means that every 5 weeks your rent goes up 10%. That's an interesting dynamic, isn't it? These are inescapable economics and financial market dynamics that are playing out here. Because when you spent 20 years with your market geared for near 0% interest rates, the whiplash can be quite severe when you get hit in the back by a semi, and that's what's happening right now. And the Bank of England, want to do a repo? Yeah. So the current situation with the Bank of England is that the Bank of England, and this is the Bank of England here now, appearing at the repo window, and they're prepared to take anything. It's like, you remember that scene, Bring Out Your Dead in Monty Python? Bring out your dead, bing, 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 bing. Yeah, bring us your garbage, bring us your toilet paper, bring us anything that you have that's now just gone bust because you really shouldn't have invested in it. Because what they've done is leverage, where they are levered maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 times to 1 in order to try and achieve results. And when those leverage trades unwind, the whiplash is severe. So we have not seen the end of this. And what they're not talking about is that they have in fact completely underwritten the entire British system by the Bank of England right now. That's what these, and there's been silence in the market. If that had happened during the height of the euro crisis, there would have been wall-to-wall media coverage of how horrible and awful it was. Instead, Bank of England gets a pass from the media. It's not getting a pass from the market though. But the reality is, it's all in now, and they are all in this repo. Bring us your dead in the Bank of England. And finally, a couple of people with some attitude adjustment. Greta Thunberg, who, for example, says that she's adjusted her attitude to nuclear power as a result of all this. Yeah, well, it's great to see someone of her calibre having her attitude adjusted as well. And finally, the world's most reviled conspiracy theorist, and speaking as an arch conspiracy theorist myself, this is obviously bad marketing for my brand, but as I've been attacking this a-hole for the last 20 years, I'm on the right side of this trade, guys, and so it is a well-deserved doom for someone who's a slug. But do I really have to point out to you that all of this, the entire creation here that you're observing in media and in AJ, is to give conspiracy theory a bad name? That's absolutely the whole idea. And that's been his mission all along. Mission accomplished. Go up a rung though, folks. Move away from the NWO-funded doom mongers who fill the internet with conspiracy rubbish and turn to quality material from somebody who actually knows what he's talking about and is on your side and not theirs. All right, that's it for this edition on Thursday, the 13th of October at 5 p.m. GMT. I'll be back with more real soon. Hope you join me for that. Quick updates, many items to cover, and I'll try and get through them as quickly as possible in the days ahead. Look forward to your company for that too. But in the meantime, for breakfornews.com and informedconsent.ie, this has been Fintan Dunn reporting. See you soon.